Yeah, it's been a minute, hasn't it? So welcome back to Creative Diaries, the most inconsistent series on this entire platform ever. So the point of that series was to just document and track and like showcase all the work that I do. But the problem is, doing that series and filming it and recording it and editing it and setting it all up, etc., took time away from me doing the things that I would then capture and talk about. So it's just this like cycle of interrupting time for either side. As more and more projects came up throughout the year, documenting it and making these videos just kind of dropped on my priority. Hence the very big hiatus. Also, I was just spending so much time and too much stress and brain power trying to make everything like look more professional, so like, you know, setting up the camera and the lights and making sure things were lit properly. So now welcome to iPhone cam with Christy, because I do not want to go to the effort anymore of laboriously setting up the camera and making sure the background's all nice and whatever. Like, this is my room. As you can tell, I've moved house since the last video. It's relatively tidy, but you know what? This is life. Also, I'm wearing this like massive jumper that makes me look like a big bat. Anyway, rather than trying to go through each month since like March or April or something like that as individual videos, they're all gonna be crammed into one big catch-up. So this is basically all the stuff I've been doing for like the last 6 months. Essentially since the beginning of the year. So first things first, I took part in something called Words First, which is a talent development program that's run by like a lot of different companies, all in collaboration with each other, but some of them include BBC One Extra, BBC Asian Network, Apples and Snakes, Wrecking Ball Press, and Own It Publishing. So what it was a poetry program slash kind of a competition, but it didn't really feel like a competition in a good way, which was really nice. So way back in June now, I want to say, applications opened. I sent in an application and a video, and they liked it, and I got through to the London stage, which I was just really happy to get to the London stage, because then I got to meet all the other like London cohort. They have like a cohort in each of the major cities, basically like London, Bristol, Edinburgh, Manchester, and there may have been a couple of other places. And then within each of the major cities, you'll have your workshops. So for us, it was 2 days of workshops under the magnificent Rachel Long, who I love, who's amazing, and a couple of other guest mentors and stuff like that. And then you would do a showcase in your city. Members of the public are invited, and you would do a poem that you'd written during the duration of the Words First workshops. And then out of that, they would select 12 people from across the nation to then go forward to the next stage. And I got through to the next stage. So I became one of the 12 finalists. And if you are one of the 12 finalists, you get published in an anthology. It was edited by the incredible Jude Lawson, who co-wrote and edited Stormzy's book, and he's just a lovely, lovely guy. Like, he went around to every single city to see every single cohort. Yeah, he worked with us. We all wrote 6 poems each, and look at the book! Look at it! Like, my name's in the acknowledgements and on the content page, and my poems are in here. What? And I get to read all these other brilliant poets' work as well, because they're so talented. They're so talented. It's a real book that you can buy. You can get this. You can read my work, and you can read all these amazing people's work. And I got everyone to like sign one of the pages as well, which is really cute. So you can order it off of Own It's website, and I believe Wrecking Ball Press's website as well. I will put a link in the description. But yeah, book you can buy. The 12 of us would then go up to Manchester, which we all did, and then we would perform at a kind of like a semi-finalist showcase kind of thing. And it's just really nice to get to kind of like meet each other, and everyone is so talented. We got to like watch each other perform, and whilst we were sitting there, we were like, oh wow, these are really genuinely some of the best poets in the country. They're just so the talent was just so high and was so amazing. And the really lovely thing was, even though it was technically like a semi-final, and out of that they would choose like a final 6 to then be at the final stage, didn't feel like a competition. No one brought like competitiveness, no one was like trying to like, you know, take down each other or whatnot. Everyone was just really genuinely excited to be there because it was just like a great experience. We got put up in a very nice hotel. What the fuck? What the fuck? This is such a nice hotel room. What the fuck? Since when are poets treated this nicely? What the hell? It is really nice. Look at this. Look at this. Ooh. Ooh. There's a fancy shower. Yes. Products are included and will be taken. We are living. We are out here. We are living. Oh my gosh. Where's the slippers? I'm gonna find the slippers. And then we got to like perform at this like gorgeous theatre. We performed in the home theatre in Manchester. We got to hang out. We got to have drinks together afterwards. Like after the showcase, we all just went out to a bar somewhere in the northern quarter, the cultural quarter in Manchester, and just like did some bad dancing to some questionable music, but it was really fun, and just made loads of really great friends from across the country.
I'm gonna have a good time. You don't come with this fucking shit, man.
I don't want to be sent to bed early. We just got out.
That's so rude. You carry on like that, man.
Anyway, so as I mentioned, they would then choose a final 6, and then that would be it. That was the final stage. I was in the final 6, which I was not really expecting. But yeah, top 6 in the country. Okay. So what happened was, so the 6 of us went off to Hull. We performed at the Hull Truck Theatre, and we had our performance recorded by BBC One Extra and BBC Asian Network, and then they broadcast that performance on national radio. What? And I try and make it as lyrical as possible. I really loved meeting. So it didn't go out live, they recorded it, edited a little bit, and they inserted like little interviews they had with us, and they put it out into the airwaves the following Monday. But like, oh my gosh, like I listened to Radio 1 all the time when I was young. Like BBC Radio was just like a big part of my life, and then just having my little voice come out on the BBC networks was just so surreal and so wonderful. Anyway, our performance as a whole was just a really beautiful way of kind of wrapping up this mad journey, because you got to see all these wonderful people again. You got to like hear each other perform and hear some of the new pieces they've written for this and some of the pieces that they've been performing previously, and just kind of hang out and then have like breakfast together the next day in a hotel, and it was just really wonderful. So a final thing we're doing as part of like being the top 6 was we're basically working with BBC Bite Size. Yes, the revision website. I don't think I can or should go into too much detail about it just yet, but we're working with them and it's very exciting, and yeah, bonkers. And hopefully you're able to see that work soon. Like I'll put it out into the world whenever it appears. So that's been kind of taking up the majority of my time and my brain space, just preparing for those performances, being part of those workshops, writing the 6 poems I was gonna say to meet the submission deadline. Most of us missed it. Sorry, Jude. But yeah, it's been really wonderful and really like a landmark moment in my in my poetry career and just life in general. On to other news. I was at Summer in the City this year. So that is a big YouTube convention. If you don't know about it, I was going to be better at releasing my vlog closer to when the event actually happened, because basically like as soon as the event finished, the next day I was like editing my footage again, be like, yeah, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it out like a week after Sitsi. It's October. Is it out? It is not. Anyway, I went to Summer in the City this year with 1080 again, my crew, my people. I was their photographer, so just running around taking photos of the venue, and I was also doing some of the live shows as well, which was really scary because I've never done live photography before. And like I've always known and appreciated and respected how hard live event photography is, but then I was kind of like thrown into it, and my gosh, live photography is hard, guys. It's really difficult. Really respect live photographers, please, because it's also the lenses are so heavy, they're like this big, and you're just there like, oh, don't break my arm. I was also the panel moderator for 2 panels, for the photography panel and for the fashion and beauty panel, which I had a really fun time doing. I did some panel moderating last year, but I was just so nervous because it was my first time doing it that I kind of didn't feel as comfortable. This time I felt really in my element and just really comfortable doing these panels, and I think it went really well. And I would love to do more panel moderating in the future / panel hosting, so if anyone is out there and is able to do that, please get in touch. Anyway, I will continue to hack at that vlog and hopefully, you know, be able to release it into the big wide world. Speaking of 1080, so in the meantime, since I released my last Creative Diaries video, I have interviewed 2 YouTubers. I have interviewed BambinoBecky and UnjadedJade. Those 2 are just so lovely. They're so wonderful. So with Becky, this was her first interview like ever. So she was like a little bit nervous, but like I've known her for like a little bit on and off for, I want to say like 2 years now. We met at a previous Summer in the City.
You're so backlit, it's unreal.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then like lean in somehow. Hello. Hi, what's up?
Hello.
Hi. She's got this little moon face in the corner.
You literally look like the moon emoji.
And she's just so lovely. She's just so full of energy, and she like just moved to London at that stage. So like everything was really exciting to her. And then we just kind of talked about her life, her journey so far.
Hello. Did you see how lost I was? I'm done. Hello.
And then we had a photo shoot with the wonderful George Young, who is this phenomenally talented and super wonderful person. We were shooting around like the Canary Wharf kind of region, and at one point Becky decided to like, I want to sit on that wall, and then she just kind of clambered up onto the wall and sat there and posed while George took photos, and then had to be like collected by George off the wall and placed back onto the ground again.
That's the scary part. How are we gonna do this?
Like, on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Beautifully done.
That was really fun. I really enjoyed chatting to her in depth and being able to like share her story with the world and with the public. Also, she just has like the nicest fans, because like when we released that story, like all her fans were tweeting and just being so supportive, and it was really lovely. And Jade as well, just what a sweetheart. Jade is like, you forget that Jade at the time of interviewing her, at the time of this video, she's 19 years old, and she's having kind of like all this success. And we were talking about how surreal it is to one moment be in a classroom and like doing homework and listening to your teacher and making sure, you know, all your like prefect and head girl duties were being completed and ticked off, and then the next minute you're on a red carpet for a film premiere. And it's really hard to kind of get your head around that, and she's still at that stage where she's trying to figure that out and figure out a balance. And you can read more about that in the interview that is now out. So just, I'll put all the links to everything I mentioned in the description. But yeah, please read these interviews because I put a lot of work into writing them, okay? I do my research and I do the interview and then I do the transcript and then I write it all up. I think I keep mentioning this, I swear, but like I will probably do a proper interview on like how to interview YouTubers / how to interview people in general at some point. So if any questions about that, please put your questions in the comments. I was gonna say in the description. Leave your questions in the description, I guess. I have been doing some poetry shows in the meantime. So in case you don't know, I am a performing poet as well as a writing poet, so people do get in touch with me and ask me to headline their shows. So people will book me and I will come and I will perform. As pretentious as it sounds, but yeah, book me, I'm great, I've worked with the BBC, I'm published. But yeah, no, actually please do book me. I'll do you proud, I promise. So I performed at an event with World Book Night. I was on the show with, I want to say 9 other people. I think there was 9 other people. It's been a while now, but we performed at the Library Club, which is this fancy members club in the heart of London. I think Soho, I want to say it's in Soho. That was really fun, just being amongst just so many other poets, and it was an all-female lineup. So we just had a really good time kind of like supporting each other and hearing each other's work. Another night I did was for something called Westbury Sessions. They're quite a new night, I believe it was their second night they put on. That was fun. It was a mix of like live music and comedy and poetry and rap, and it was really fun. I was the second on the lineup, I think, and I found out that I'm actually quite funny. I'm quite funny on stage, which I never expected, but like I like to like talk in between poems. I like to sometimes I like to just kind of set up what the poem is about. There's like discussion around whether or not you should like introduce your poems or not, but sometimes I feel like some poems need a little bit of context, or I just want to chat to the audience whilst I'm performing, especially if I'm like a little bit nervous and I want to like break the ice with the audience. Like I'll just kind of like crack a few jokes / just talk, and they found me funny, and a couple of people afterwards were coming up to me saying like they really enjoyed my set, they liked my humour and things like that. Will I be going to stand-up comedy? Absolutely not, because that's terrifying, but you know what, it's good to know that, you know, I am fun. I'm fun, okay? I can be funny. I also did a festival for the first time in my life as a poet, which was terrifying. Oh my gosh. It was the Walthamstow Garden Party. So this was the second time I'd been to that festival, but this year was the first time I went on the main stage. So also the festival is all about like arts and performances and music and dance, and I think there was a circus act this year as well. Really amazing free festival for members of the public and for the Walthamstow area. But yeah, I got the opportunity to do the main stage, which is the massive stage, and I did it deliberately. Like I deliberately took on this opportunity because I knew it was scary, and because I knew it would be the hardest performance I have ever done, ever. Because with like festivals, people come for music. People come for music, to dance, to see bands and singers. They don't really come for poetry. They don't come for people to stand there with their work and read it out loud or perform it. They want the music and the beats and the noise. So it's very hard for a solo poet to stand there on a massive stage and perform to the audience of a few hundred / maybe up to 1,000 people. And also like at festivals, like people drink, and when people drink they get very rowdy, and if they get rowdy they're not very pleasant to main acts that they might not be enjoying. So with all that in mind, I said yes, I'd love to be on a main stage. But you know what, everything is character building, and it generally was such a good like performance lesson and confidence booster. So on the day of my performance, I did the Sunday, but I was taken backstage. I was shown like where I was going to perform. I got to sit in the green room for a bit and have a cup of tea just beforehand. I was so nervous, so nervous because of all the reasons I just listed. Also, I wanted to go off book. I want to go purely from memory because I know I perform at my best and at my most energetic off book, off page. And I was aware that, we've discussed this since, but I was aware that whenever the poets are on stage, that's when stage crew use this as an opportunity to set up the stage. So you'll be performing and about a dozen people will be behind you, moving microphones, moving drum kits on and off. They'll be testing drum kits, they'll be moving speakers and things like that, sometimes right up next to your feet. It's a very disruptive atmosphere to be performing in, and really not ideal. And we've spoken to this with the organisers now, because this is not the first time they've done this for the poets, but that's another story. Also, this was an open performance space, not a closed space like in a room or a venue. So basically when you perform, the energy doesn't bounce back to you. So you have to be really high energy and really project and really just throw that energy out there. So I was having a lot of stuff in my head. The very lovely Kareem Parkins Brown was the MC and the host for the festival. And he is basically like the best host. If you can book him, because he's fantastic. He'll take care of all the performers, he'll talk to each of them and make sure they're comfortable, ask questions about them so he can actually like hype you up properly when you're on stage. And whilst I was waiting in the wings to like go on, he very kindly had written some notes on a phone because like I couldn't really hear anything, and he just kind of let me read it, and it was just kind of like tips on like what it might be like performing. Like people may walk in and out through the audience space, like some people may just, like a whole group of people may just get up and walk off, and not to worry about it, and how to like hold a microphone and things like that. So that was really lovely that Kareem like had my back whilst that was happening. And then I went on stage. I only had 10 or 15 minutes to perform, so I was really going for it. I was really throwing it out there, because I was like, you know what, I know you're not here for poetry, I know you don't really want to hear me, but you know what, I am here, so you're gonna listen to me. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine, but to whoever is still here, I'm just gonna give it my all. And I got a really good response, which I was not expecting. Like the audience were very vocal and very vocally supportive. Like they were cheering, there were a few whoops every now and then. Kareem was really impressed. He was saying to me like he's never seen that at a festival before, he's never seen the audience so engaged, which was like which is wonderful.
Count your blessings, boy, because I am your blessing, boy, because when I walk into a room, you know a deity has arrived, because if my body is a temple and God is within me, and I will name myself beautiful, speak myself into existence, and there is nothing unholy about my skin. When I choose to unclothe, I get no shame, I get no complaints, because if I take my clothes off, I take your breath away. And I am not just a work of art, I am the whole damn gallery. I'm still learning to see myself the way I see you, and you are beautiful, you are beautiful, you are beautiful, and I'm blessed to see you. I'm 9. And I'm wondering what I'll look like when I grow up. I'm 24 now. I look happy. I am.
One more time, please. One more time, please, for Christy Cool.
He also caught footage of like the security guard at the barriers just like watching my whole performance and being like, and then people afterwards found me on Instagram and were like DMing me saying how much they enjoyed my performance, which was really wonderful. And you know you made an impact when someone sends you hate on Twitter. So after my performance, someone had found my Twitter and then tweeted at me saying, "You're just a shit George the Poet." For some context, George the Poet is this more famous spoken word performer, and I found that so funny. That was so funny. I'm a shit George the Poet. I love that. I wanted to change it to my bio. But yeah, that was a really terrifying thing to do, but I'm really glad I did it.
She's spending 28.
Anyway, other things I've been doing, I've done a little bit of photography every now and then. Highlights include I did a photo shoot with a snake, like a real snake, a real live snake. She was called Cleo. She was very sweet. She was a good girl. Yes, snakes can be good girls. My friend was shooting a music video, and part of the concept was that they would have a snake and the model would be holding it, or like it would be draped around her and she would hold the snake. And they also wanted me to kind of take behind the scenes photos and also take photos like an above shot of the snake for them to use as the album / single cover. And that was just really cool. Like, when else are you gonna get the opportunity to do a shoot like that? I love that it came about because my friend Louie just messaged me out of the blue saying, "Christy, do you like snakes?" And I said, "Yeah, alright, what's up?" 2 days later, I was in the studio in a warehouse in London taking photos of a snake. Another highlight was I did a photo shoot with a lovely Molly Aiken. I think that's how I pronounce your surname, I'm really sorry. So the lovely Molly had written a book called The Island Child. It's her debut novel, and she found my work via Instagram somehow. I think we have a mutual somewhere, and basically she told me that she just needed good headshots because she realised she didn't actually have any, and so she contacted me saying like, yeah, I think it's time for me to get good headshots and stuff. So we met up in Hackney and we had like a really fun shoot out and about in the area, and this was our first time having a photo shoot. And what I love is I tend to work with people who aren't confident from the camera, who have never done photo shoots before, and that's kind of like become my specialty now, working with people who are camera shy. And what I really love is working with people who don't like being in front of the camera, and seeing how over time, within the space of half an hour or so, they just get really comfortable and they're just having so much fun and they're so relaxed. And it's a real joy seeing these photos because you can see like she's more posed in the beginning ones, and afterwards like she's just smiling, laughing. And like my favourite is this one amongst the poppy fields, and it's just beautiful, and we just had such a good time, and she's so lovely. It was just really fun to like make a friend and take some beautiful photos, and you know, now she has some like nice photos for her to enjoy and use for all her authorial needs. So if you are an author or a writer that needs photos, hey. Final thing, I went to Gladstone's library with Julia. So Julia, off of Julia's bookcase. I swear I hang out with more people. I think I always talk about Julia all the time on the internet, but I do have other friends. Anyway, Julia's Instagram has been doing really well. She's hit 10k followers now on Instagram, which is absolutely fantastic. And she was gifted a trip to go to Gladstone's library, which is a residential library. Yes, a library you can stay in Wales. And so Gladstone was one of the former prime ministers, and it's his collection of books. It's in this absolutely stunning building, and it has rooms upstairs, and you can just like live in the library. And it was an incredible trip, and I recorded like bits and clips of our trip there, and I will make it a video. I will, I promise. But in the meantime, you can read Julia's blog post about our experience, and also we've been posting photos about it on our Instagrams. That trip was just so fun. It was for 2.5 days, and we just felt like we were like characters in a YA novel in a boarding school. Everyone was so lovely, the staff was so wonderful. Also, it's Wales, so everyone was really friendly, and it was just such a good time. Like, I would genuinely go back. Like, I'm aware the trip was free and like covered and paid for, but like, it's not that expensive considering everything, and I would 100% go back. Like, I would love to go back there at some point and be like a writing residence. They run a writing residency thing actually, but you have to have at least one book published first. But if I'm ever working on a big writing project, I would love to go back there and live there and spend a week amongst books writing and reading. And yeah, what an amazing, beautiful place. Okay, that is it. There was probably more stuff, but you know what, that'll have to go into another video. I am indeed still working on some new projects that I believe I'm not allowed to talk about at the moment. But yeah, this is the life. This is my creative life. What an outro. Thank you all very much for watching. Please do talk to me in the comments. I was going to say description again. Talk to me in the comments because I do reply to everyone. And I just love chatting to people. Also hit me up on social media if you prefer. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!